It's time to make a chicken coop in one video. All good projects start with one trip to Home Depot. First up, building the walls. The overall size of this bad boy would be a 4x5. The first wall I built is the one with the window. My awesome secretary helped me out. The spacing is going to be about 16 inches on center for each wall, and I'm going to have the front wall be a little higher than the rest. You could also use this method to build a playhouse. You could use nails, but if you don't, always pre-drill all the pieces before you put the screws in. The side with the door and the side attached to the chicken coop run will be longer. If you want more windows, you could easily add them. If you want to add them after the fact, you could easily add them. Just know where your studs are. I wanted my coop to be raised so I could also have a little extra for run space underneath. My little fat chickens are tall, so I got about 22 inches off the ground. For the legs, I use treated lumber because it'll be touching the ground. Next thing you gotta do is add the plywood sheeting. The floor is 3/4 of an inch thick. Once I screw it down, I added one more piece of support so my fat ass doesn't fall through when I'm cleaning it. Try to put on a level piece of ground wherever you put it. I had to make this level, which was a pain in the ass, but it does get the job done. Once the base is all situated, now you can start adding the walls that you pre-made in the garage. If you work by yourself, make sure you get some clamps to hold it down while you screw them into the floor. Otherwise, get your sexy wife to come over here and help you out and get into the DIYing herself. So to give you a little perspective, this is the run side of the coop and the other side is the door side. The walls will also be attached to the walls next to it to make it nice and sturdy. Again, if you don't want to build a coop, this is exactly how you would build a playhouse as well. I chose to use 1/2-inch plywood for the actual walls. The easiest way and most accurate way to do this is actually screw it to the framing and then come back with your router and flush cut it perfect. And now I bring you some cuteness halfway through the video. That house is for chickens and not people. And that's my little chicken with my other little chicken. Probably the best part about the build. Anyways, back to it. So each one of these screws are going directly into the base and then I just flush cut out the door. I really believe that this is the most accurate way to cut these pieces. Look at this chicken thinking it owns a joint. This house is a freaking zoo. Now onto the roof. The roof is polycarbonate and also semi-transparent. So you could get some sun in for these little chickies. You basically build the roof exactly like you built the walls. All you gotta do is lay the roofing right on top of the frame and then screw it down. Make sure you buy the screws that go with the roofing. These are the pieces I use to attach the roof to the walls. Once these are installed, you can just take the roof and drop them right onto these pieces and slide them down. This is a literal bird's eye view of what it looks like inside the coop. Not a fun part, making the coop look like how you want it on the outside. Me and the missus decided to go with some board and batten, so I'm going to case the edges and I'm going to case along the inside. Sorry for the dark video, but it gets dark here in Chicago around 4 o'clock. Man, this coop is starting to look sexy. Once I have all the board and batten up, I can move on to painting and staining the edges. If you watch any of my past videos, you'll realize that I like wood and black together because it's sexy. I'm using my cordless Graco spray gun because this shit puts on a perfect coat. Once you fill up the canister, you're just going to put it onto the gun, twist it, get the air out. After you squeeze it, flip the dial down to prime it, and now you're ready for the main event. The spray gun makes my life so much easier because there's no cords, and outside you don't have to worry about any kind of overspray. Plus the finish is unmatched. This is the best part. It's like unwrapping presents to make sure you got the good stuff. Now it's time to make the door. I'm going to be using 2x6s on the outside and 1x6s in the middle. The framing of the door will be connected by pocket hole screws and the inside will be connected by brad nails. Hit it with the bam and then hit it again with the bam. The stain color I chose for the door in the top is called Early American by Bayer, and man, this is such a nice warm brown. Next up, let's make a window. The window's pretty easy. I just made it out of 2x4s and some trim. Once that was all framed out, I used some acrylic to make the window. I had some extra laying around from the playhouse, so I finally got to use it. I cut this with the right blade, so don't come for me in the comments. I just dropped this piece in and basically held it in place by some scrap pieces that you won't see on the other side. I decided to hold everything together with some glue rather than screws. And there you have it, a customized door and window for the coop, and this is how everything looks installed. Last thing you gotta do is make some nesting boxes. I decided to make 3, which is way more space than they actually need. I started off by making a platform and attaching it directly to the base of the coop. Once that was done, I decided on the angle I wanted, and that's about 10 degrees so some water would wick off it. And just like that, I built my first chicken coop. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments.